I think it's true to say that in recent days the Church of England is working very hard to think strategically and across the board, and to move out of some of the silos that perhaps it has operated in the past. And those silos can be diocesan, but they can also be interest groups, boards, etc., etc. The Growing Faith report is a very serious attempt for us to think not just within the Board of Education, but within a whole range of groups within the Church about how we do mission and faith. And this is not primarily mission and faith to children, but mission and faith involving children. And so this report is, I think, a significant step forward in us looking outwards towards the wider church. This has been adopted by the House of Bishops, and it seeks to make us think about our mission work with and for children, both at home, in school, and of course in church. And I commend it too. If you haven't had a chance to read it, I would ask please that you do. I'm very happy now to hand over to Jane, who very kindly is going to walk us through some of the key points of the report.
Thank you, Archdeacon David, Bishop, members of Synod, good morning. It's a real pleasure to introduce the very significant report that is Growing Faith. It has been the subject, I think, of lively debate, I'm sure, among the House of Bishops and at General Synod, and certainly among the Association of Directors of Education, to which I belong. I think the three-legged stool which it describes presents very clearly some of our challenges, but more excitingly for us, I think, the opportunities we have to join the dots between the work of our churches, our schools, and work with families. And like David, I want to commend it to you. I think we can learn much from the fabulous practice in many of our schools, our 15,000 children who are educated in church schools in this diocese. We've seen this morning some of the fantastic work that goes on, and I think listening to children and hearing their voice is something that schools just live and breathe, and maybe something we can learn from in our churches. I don't suppose there's anyone in the cathedral who would disagree with anything in the report. I don't think the challenge is whether we embrace it. I think it is about how we embrace it. We're certainly looking both nationally and at Dawson level at how we integrate better those areas of work that are particularly about schools and our mission focus in our churches. And I think we're paying increasing attention to what is possibly the weakest area of work, in my opinion, which is with households. And I think the challenge to us is to do that joining of the dots. But can I give you some encouragement and some hope? I think there's huge energy behind this. I think there is a real desire on our to ensure that we pay real attention to children, young people and households. And I love the phrase that emerges through the report of looking at things through the lens of what does this mean for children and for young people and for households. So we thought it might be helpful to try and unpack some of the report in our workshops, and Gavin, as he said, will explain how we're going to do that in a little while. But I also wanted to give you a chance to hear from Helen Matter, who retires this summer, to explain a little bit about how the Emmanuel Project in particular has helped us and transformed some of the work in our schools by the writing of the Emmanuel Project. This has been just an amazing journey. Helen has worked, as she always does, incredibly collaboratively with others, but I thought it might be helpful to hear a little bit about how we teach children about the Christian faith in our schools as a way in to thinking about growing faith. And I wonder if Helen would like to come up and say a little bit more. And as she does, again, I would want to echo Bishop Martin's heartfelt thanks to Helen for all that she's done in our diocese in terms of schools work. Helen.